I'm Mr. Reckless Abandoned Lazarus Black.
And I am the deranged behemoth Ryan Mantis.
And together, we are
the Black Society.
And you, my friends, are watching Hashtag Truth
with Scott Larson.
Roll it.
Watch it all fall down around you now. Was it ever really worth it? Having your kingdom crumble to the ground? Because you never had the courage. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up.
After the last few weeks, what you've seen on our Fight Underground social media is multiple places bidding to hold the first ever Fight Underground heavyweight championship match between the Rev Ron Hunt and the Beastman. After careful deliberation between myself and the other members of the Fight Council, we've had a lot of good pitches. We've had a lot of good reasons to hold it in any one of these places. Lou Marconi in Cleveland, Darren Smythe in Florida, Boomer Payne in North Carolina, and our friends to the north, Kingdom James in Canada. We've thought about it, we've deliberated, we've debated, and we have decided that this Saturday, June the 19th, 2021, the Fight Underground Heavyweight Championship match will be at HWA in Rutherfordton, North Carolina, at the Gilkey School Community Center. This is going to be a historic night for Fight Underground as we crown our first ever heavyweight champion. Rev, Beastman, good luck to both of you. Fans of Fight Underground, look to our social media over the next week as we will have lots and lots to say about this match coming up. Once again, congratulations to Boomer Payne. Congratulations to HWA. This Saturday night, June 19th, Rutherfordton, North Carolina, the Fight Underground Heavyweight Championship will be decided. Good luck, gentlemen.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Hashtag Truth. Tonight, we have the one, the only, the American hero, Johnny Faith. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem, man. Love to have you on, man. So tell everybody, man, where are you from and how'd you get into wrestling?
So I am originally from Charlotte, North Carolina. I joined the Army. Once my Army career was over, I really didn't have nothing to do with my life. I was kind of lost. And when I retired out, I was out in Kansas. I was approached by a man by the name of Billy Simmons, who just opened up a training facility out there. And I just started training. And that's pretty much how I became a wrestler. Obviously, it's been my dream, since I was a little kid. And my military career got in the way of that dream. But once my career was over in the military, I decided to pursue that dream.
I did 4 years in the Navy. Uncle Sam has a way of doing that. They're very demanding. But yeah, so you're in Kansas and you get into wrestling, man. What was it like to get in? What was it like the first day you showed up at training, man? What tell us about that day.
So the first day I showed up to training, obviously, like I said, I was a combat veteran. So I thought I was in great shape, but that first day really pushed my limits in terms of physicality and mentality because, you see all the guys on TV and everywhere. And, for the naked eye, it just looks super simple. Obviously, not a lot of physicality. But once you get in that ring and once you start training, it really puts a burden on your body and on your mind.
So what was the hardest thing right off the bat, man? Was it running the ropes? Did they exercise you to death? What was that first day of training like? Did they and how long did it take before they actually put you in the ring to do things?
So the first, I always wanted to know what it was like to take a bump. I always wanted to know what it was like to hit that mat at full force, taking a clothesline or whatever. And those first bumps, obviously, they kindergarten you into it before you take your first big bump. And, once I took that first big bump, it was something that I wasn't expecting, because, there's all those superstitions about, padding and stuff like that. But,
oh yeah. People that watch wrestling, I hear it all the time. Some of the fans out there talking about, well, they go flying off the top rope, they jump off the top of second story building. There's got to be a ton of padding. It doesn't hurt. It can't hurt. Yeah, okay. They don't understand that there's about 1 inch of padding, and then there's a bunch of 2x6s underneath it. You know what I'm saying?
When I took that first good bump, it shocked me, and to realize, that, people do this for a living, day in and day out, it gave me a lot more respect for wrestling. Just something super simple, taking a bump.
So when you went home after that first day of training, was you bruised up? Was you feeling like, oh man, did I make? I don't know if I want to go back, or was you just ready to go? Are you okay? I got the worst of it over. I'm going to keep doing this.
So I had to drive about an hour and a half to the training facility from my home, and
so you had time to think about it. It's like, oh gosh,
yeah.
I'm back in here. Oh no.
So I spent that time after that first night on the way home, and on top of that too, there were only 4 of us in the class, so we had to set the ring up by ourselves, with our trainer.
The paying the dues part, the paying the dues.
That was our warm up, was setting the ring up, which was mind blowing in itself.
That'll work up a little lather. People don't understand, man. These rings, there's different types of rings, but a lot of them that I've seen in independent wrestling, they're steel, and the sides are really long, and and there's little points at the ends, and you got to line them up, and you got to get it all straight. It's not easy, and they are very heavy.
Definitely. So when I went home that night, I was just like, I really wasn't feeling it when I went home, but I woke up the next day and was pretty sore, but I was all in, after that first day. Even though it kicked the crap out of me, I was all in. I was ready to give it my all, and to be the very best that I can be.
Right. What's going on, Alexander Polk? I'm sitting here talking with the American hero, Johnny Faith. Welcome to Hashtag Truth, man. So the American hero, man, how'd you get the name the American hero?
So I'm actually a second generation wrestler. My grandfather wrestled in the late 70s, early 80s throughout the Southeast. A few stints with the Crockett's here and there, but mostly, on the independent scene. Actually, he wrestled a lot at the Carolina Metrolina Expo Center in Charlotte.
Nice.
But he was Jimmy Faith, and his first name was James. My first name's obviously John, so I decided Johnny Faith. Now, the American hero, it didn't really come around, because when I started becoming a wrestler, I didn't really want a military type gimmick. I really didn't. But as I started wrestling, and as I started figuring out, my character and who I wanted to be inside that ring, the military style just came naturally to me. It was just, second nature, and I didn't have to think about anything. So the American hero was born.
So when you come out, before you wrestle, do you come out in military getup, or is I saw, like when you sent me your picture, you have a onesie, and it kind of has like stars on it, but do you have like a full military getup when you come out?
So I actually, tomorrow night, my home promotion, XWE out in Kansas, I'm debuting some new gear that I was supposed to debut before COVID hit. And it is actually the ACU camouflage pattern that I wore while I was in the military. I also have another set of gear too that is ACU pattern, that is actually made out of Army military fatigues that I've worn personally in combat.
Right.
And then I have a green, brown, and black get up too, for like the old school woodland camo from the 80s and stuff like that. So my gear is definitely military themed. I come out with a flick vest on, if you know what that is. It's
right.
Hold our ammo and stuff like that. Obviously I don't wrestle, I take it off, but yeah, like once I realized that, I guess the military themed themed character is what I'm all in for, then I just ran with it.
Nice. So, with the name the American Hero, I'm pretty sure you play the good guy most of the time, right?
Yes, sir. So far, I have, anyways.
So how many bad guys in their promos called you a wannabe Sergeant Slaughter? You've had to have heard it at least once or twice.
I've had that. I've had wannabe Patriot, Del Wilkes, stuff like that. I mean, I've had a lot of people, talk to me about, ripping people off, stuff like that. And to be honest with you, I'm me, just turned up 100%.
Right, without a doubt, man. See, that's what I like, and I tell people that all the time when they get some of these young kids that come up and ask me questions, and I'm like, I'm new in wrestling. I'm doing that. What do I do if I want to start off in wrestling? What do I do? First of all, find a good trainer, a certified trainer, and then, when you go to make your character or be your character, make it yourself times 10. Whatever you do, whatever excites you, whatever passion you have, that's your character. And then just jack it up a little bit higher,
Exactly.
If you're a bad guy, talk mean, but do what you do. You know what I mean?
And at the beginning, there's so many military themed gimmicks and characters out there on the indies. And I was trying to stay away from that because I didn't want to look like, everyone else. I wanted to be super in who I was. And, eventually I just, bit the bullet and just embraced the American Hero and just, turned it up a couple hundred notches.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure with, the way the world is today, I'm pretty sure when you go, come out and you're mingling among the fans, that I'm pretty sure you hear politics left and right since you're the American Hero. Has anybody just walked up and started talking politics with you?
Yes, they talk politics to me through my Facebook page. Like they'll try to find my, my regular, shoot page, and try to get my opinions on what do you think about us pulling troops out of Iraq, or and to be honest with you, I don't mix politics with wrestling whatsoever.
Right. There's two things I never try to mix with wrestling, and that's religion and politics, man. It's not a good mix. Neither one of them are a good mix.
So I just try to quietly, let their question, go away without interact. I mean, obviously I will be very respectful, but, as far as politics goes, I've definitely had my share of people coming up to me, asking questions. I had a guy throw a Trump shirt at me at a show one time, stuff like that.
Oh my God. And you're the good guy.
I don't know. So I was just like, I really, I try to keep politics away from everything.
So let's go back. So you started wrestling in Kansas City. You started getting trained in Kansas City. Continue from there. How'd your career go from there?
So where I started wrestling was a place called Salina, Kansas. It's about 2.5 hours west of Kansas City, out in the middle of nowhere in Kansas, pretty much. So pretty much I started wrestling there for that home promotion, my home promotion, XWE. And then I started, branching out throughout the Midwest, did some shows in Indiana, done some shows, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas. And then I slowly, a dream of mine was to always wrestle in Charlotte. It was always a dream of mine to wrestle in Charlotte. And, once COVID hit, that dream kind of was crushed because everyone shut down, stuff like that. But I actually had the opportunity to wrestle twice in Charlotte over the past few months for XWW.
Oh, great guys up there at XWW, man. Manny is the guy up there, boy.
I wrestled Manny in a tables match, actually.
Nice.
And then I wrestled Buddy Mancini in a match as well.
At one time, XWW, when I was doing sponsorships on #Truth, XWW was one of my major sponsors, and I love Manny. He was even on the hashtag. He came on here and talked about his show and stuff like that. That is a good area to be on, to be with. Philip Rollins, bam, what you going on, man? He said, fine, and you. Ryan Lee, what's up? How you doing? This is the guy that was on last night. Glad to see you're back watching Hashtag Truth. I'm sitting here talking with the American hero, Johnny Faith, right now. So you wanted to wrestle in the Charlotte area. Now, Charlotte's a big town now, you know, probably the biggest in North Carolina, probably. And, you know, that is one area where you can basically throw a rock and you're going to hit an organization somewhere, man, without a doubt. So, you know, when you go in, when you go in there with high expectations, and you're starting to go around there, how quickly did you realize that you're in the big city?
So when I first started my father, he's had some health issues, and you know, it's always been a dream of mine for him to see me wrestle in person, because he's always seen me wrestle on Facebook, you know, stuff like that. And I've always tried to make it to the Charlotte area so he could at least drive and watch me wrestle in person. And that's always been the ultimate goal of mine, is for my family to watch me wrestle. And obviously in the Midwest, it's kind of hard because that's an 18-hour drive.
Right.
So when I started putting the feelers out in the Charlotte area, I just realized how much wrestling there is within the city limits and within maybe like 2 or 3 hours.
Ryan said it looks like he needs to hit up Charlotte.
Because, I mean, there's just so much wrestling in North Carolina and in South Carolina, and it's unbelievable. And I'm hoping that, you know, when I throw something at the wall, that eventually it's going to stick.
Without a doubt. Gary Emmett. Now, we were talking about promoters earlier. Gary Emmett said, can't wait to have you back at AWR. There you go.
Yeah.
How you doing, Gary?
I love AWR. We actually somehow, with Gary and AWR, that's up in Indianapolis. My buddy Remington Roar and Mitch Onyx, they're actually running the show up there right now. They're actually putting in the good work. You know, when I've been dealing with my dad's health issues, I haven't had a chance to make it back up that way. But Gary, I can't wait to make it back to AWR.
So you've hit, wow, this is pretty cool. You've hit Kansas. You started off in Kansas. You've hit the Charlotte area. You've hit Indianapolis. I mean, you travel. You're a pretty well-traveled guy, just like the military. Gosh, imagine that.
And actually, coming up for July 4th, I'll be hitting Florida.
Right. Wow.
For Legacy Classic Championship Wrestling outside of Bunnell, Florida.
Wow, very good. I like that. See, that's what a lot of people, I don't understand why a lot of indie wrestlers now, I get money, I get your shoot job, I understand, you know, you got to stick pretty close, but man, on weekends, if you got 2-3 days, even if it's just one show and you can go out of state, hit them shows, man.
Yeah.
Because you never know, you might strike gold somewhere. Some, you know, promoter might like your talent, they might like your gimmick. You might be a perfect fit for what they see as a champion, as the face of the company. You don't know unless you get out and spread your wings.
Exactly. And I'm blessed. I don't know if I'm blessed or cursed that my retirement from the military has allowed me to not have a shoot job, if that makes sense. So I can travel on the weekends and I can go to different seminars all over the country and stuff like that. So I'm pretty blessed in that area. And I'm going to take full advantage of it as much as I can.
There you go. Without a doubt. Ronnie King wants to know, who's Johnny Faith? Who was your wrestling idols growing up? There you go.
So Ric Flair would definitely have to be my idol growing up. I mean, not a Charlotte guy. I mean, yes, that's a good reason, but
there's not many people that watch wrestling that don't like Ric Flair. I mean, you might hate the player, but you don't hate the wrestler.
For the few locker rooms my grandfather shared with him, he told me nothing but good things about Ric Flair. He spoke so highly of him, you know, the few times that he met him. And, you know, that just blew me away to begin with. And then on the other side, you know, XWW a long time ago out of Charlotte when they first came out. They had his son Reed Flair wrestling for him, and I'm always a big Flair family fan for sure.
Ronnie said Flair's the greatest of all time. I will not argue with that. He is definitely, I will say this, he is definitely in the top 3 of all time. There's a huge argument about who's the best ever. If you get into a group of wrestling fans, more than 2 or 3, you're going to have somebody say Ric Flair is the best. You're going to have somebody say Hulk Hogan's the best. You're going to have, there's all kinds of different answers. It just depends, how old you are too. Some will say Martino was the best. It just depends on your era, what kind of wrestling you like, and where you grew up.
Well, Ric Flair also too, like the first time I ever met him, I was about 8, I think. My mother had a membership to Gold's Gym, and he came in there, and he came in there, and this was during the highlight. This is during the WCW, Monday Nitro Wars and stuff, and came in there, and I'm sitting in the daycare in the gym while my mom's working out, and Ric Flair just strolls in there, does his little strut, and strolls right back out.
He's one to make an appearance now. I don't think Ric Flair ever enters a room without, all eyes on him. He's going to make sure all eyes are on him. What I'm saying?
I know, that was the only reason why I'd go to the gym with my mom, is to try to catch him or catch some of the other WCW wrestlers that would be there, like Arn Anderson. I think Sting was in there a few times, stuff like that. But I mean, Flair had enough, he took enough time out of his day to come into that daycare and to make us all laugh for like the 30 seconds he was there.
Woo!
Yeah, exactly. So, he's always, in my book, he's always going to be the greatest. And it's not because, I'm a Charlotte guy. It's because he is a great, for at least from my perspective, he's a great person. My grandfather talked highly of him. And, his wrestling is just unmatchable.
Right. Without it. Well, 13-time champion. I mean, there's no denying it. Gary also said he's talking about you. He's a road warrior for sure. A lot of guys stick to the 40-mile gimmick. Not y'all. I salute you, brother. When IMK.
Let me know.
Let me know when you get ready to bounce back. There you go. All right. I'm kind of slow. I'm old. I don't know all the little acronyms. Sorry about that.
Hey, Gary, I appreciate the opportunities you have given me and the opportunities you've given my Kansas guys, and I will get in contact with you and let you know when I am ready to bounce back.
Ronnie says you definitely need a break somewhere. You are 100% respectable, and you respect old school. There you go. I love it.
My grandfather was old school. I would watch old reels and VHS tapes with him, and we're talking
I'll tell my age here, but that's what I used to do, man. When mom went to go get movies at the video store, I went to the little section that had the wrestling videos, and I grabbed 2 or 3, baby, 2 or 3 at a time, every time. You know what I'm saying?
And what was good about my grandpa was he actually was a security guard at the Charlotte Coliseum. So anytime wrestling would come, I would get tickets to go.
Oh, see, that's when you got it going on then. I mean, if you got a way into the Coliseum every time, that is definitely, a good way to go. And you got to see a lot of great wrestling, and I can imagine why. I can see why you why you got into wrestling, why you became a wrestler. I mean, if I was a kid and I was going into the Coliseum and my eyes was this big and I'm watching Ric Flair and I'm watching, all these greats in the Coliseum, and I knew I was going to see them every week. Wow. So you had a really good growing up.
Exactly. Well, wrestling, like I said, it's in my blood, in my family. And September 11th happened, and obviously my obligation was to my country. So I decided to put wrestling on hold, as I would call it. And,
and there's nothing wrong with that, man. From one guy to another. Thank you very much for your service, bro.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Without a doubt. Well, we're going to come right back with the American hero, Johnny Faith. I'm going to play a short video now. Gavel David Lawless has something to say about Fight Underground's championship match that's coming to HWA. As soon as we break from that, we'll be right back with the American hero. Can't forget the hero part. The American hero, Johnny Faith. We'll be right back.
Fight Underground has asked me to weigh in on this upcoming Fight Championship match taking place in North Carolina between the Beastman and the Reverend Ron Hunt. And I think I'm in a special position to weigh in on this match because I've shared the ring with these individuals multiple times over the last 6 years. Now, Beastman's unorthodox. No one knows what he's going to do, and no one can get inside his mind. But the Rev, he's a special type of wrestler. See, not only does he have great athletic ability, but the Reverend knows how to use his words to get inside your mind. Now, the Beastman is someone whose mind is impenetrable. Hell, no one knows what he's thinking at any given moment. And this unpredictability is what makes me believe that he is going to be the first Fight Underground champion. Now, as for his first challenger, I think the Gavel David Lawless is the perfect opponent. Because if you all remember, the only loss that I've suffered in Fight Underground was to that moron Beastman. And what lawyers do when they lose is we learn from our mistakes. Now, Beastman, I wish you the best of luck. I hope you come back from North Carolina with that championship. Because what I will do is I will immediately strip you of that title. And if management insists on not giving me the match that I deserve, well, you all know I'll make it happen, one way or another. So, Beastman, Rev Ron Hunt, safe travels, best of luck. But when that title comes back to Pittsburgh, it's going to sit firmly around my waist.
All right, we are back with the American hero, Johnny Faith. You know, it's always great to watch a promo and a clock be in the background. He did that promo at 2:45 in the afternoon. Have you ever did a promo somewhere other than, you know, with a screen behind you or something and not realize something happened behind you?
Yeah, actually, I was, you know, I really, as much as I don't like car promos, I had to get one out a few weeks ago for Memorial Day, and I was on the road traveling, and apparently there was a car wreck behind me, like a bumper to on. Yeah, and I had no clue. I thought they were honking at me, but nah, it was somebody else down into the guy.
I didn't even know that was going to lead into something that great, but that is awesome. Yeah, I'm the American hero, Johnny Faith, and I will be in Charlotte this Wednesday. Oh crap! What just happened behind me?
Yeah. So obviously I had to cut it and reshoot, but yeah, I thought they were honking at me.
That'd be great.
Honking at me. They were honking at the guy behind me that they had ran into, I guess, and wanted to get him out of the way.
Oh, there you go. Without a doubt, man. So I guess when I come to the part of the show where I ask you, what's the craziest thing you've seen in wrestling? That has to be in your top 5 at least.
That was pretty interesting. I know that. And I actually have it saved on my phone just for, you know, giggles later.
Oh, that's a perfect TikTok, dude. I'm just saying, if you don't TikTok, you know, that's a perfect TikTok.
You know, because I was mid-character, you know, getting into it. And then all of a sudden I'm hearing a bunch of horn honking, and I heard a big old smash behind me, and yeah.
So do you do like the Sergeant Slaughter tone or whatever? I hate to use him as a reference, but he's the only guy that I remember with the military. Do you deepen your voice and act like a drill sergeant, or what is the American hero like?
I don't know. I just talk normal. I mean, it's obviously not normal, but I talk in a regular voice and just intensify it. You know, I definitely do the drill sergeant freaking, I got an intensity in my voice for sure.
Right.
Try to take as many breaths as I can, because I'm speaking too fast, because I'm, you know, so intense that, you know, I get gassed super easily when I do promos. But I have found my niche, I think, and learned to slow it down. And I have found what works for me. And the raspy, deep voice isn't it.
That's what I'm talking about. So how many times have you showed up at a promotion and the promotion has a wrestler from another country who waves the flag and, and they just look at you and go, you know who you're wrestling, right?
That only happened once. And that happened
Really?
That happened at XWW because Manny Mac does a Dubai millionaire character, because he's so he came out and interrupted the national anthem. A kid was singing the national anthem at the beginning of the show, and he came out and interrupted and did his spiel on.
I bet he got a million boos when that happened, bro.
Well, I came out and interrupted him and challenged him to a tables match. And let the kid finish singing the national anthem while he scurried off. But actually, no, I haven't wrestled it. I haven't wrestled any other foreign gimmicks or characters yet, really, except for Manny Mac.
See, that's amazing because that's traditional right there. Normally, when you got, when you have the military gimmick, somewhere you always have the enemy. You have the one big enemy guy. Sergeant Slaughter had Iron Sheik. Stuff like that, the great gift. That surprises me that you've only had one. That really does.
Well, in my home promotion, there's a faction called the American Way.
Okay.
And they are a super heel gimmick who their way, it's tyranny, authoritative, they're there to take over, stuff like that. And then you got me, which is the American hero with the good values, the loyalty, the honor, stuff like that. So we've actually been in a feud for the past year or two.
Right. So how many times have you played up that gimmick? How many times have you actually went to like a military place where, there's something military going on in the background or like I hate to say it this way, but like a military graveyard or something like that, and done one of your promos?
I actually cut a promo on my grandfather's grave, and he is buried in a veteran cemetery. And I felt really weird at first because I didn't know if it was respectful or not. Believe it or not, I really didn't. But to be honest,
I guarantee you, if you believe in this, every guy that was buried in that military grave shed a tear watching you do that, bro. I guarantee it.
Oh, and after I cut the promo and after I shot it and edited it and all that and went back and rewatched it, I was like, man, that was amazing. Like, only people could have, scenarios like that for their promos that's so unique and original like that.
There we go. Sean, big time, comes in and says, boys, does it feel good to say good afternoon and hello from Fallon, Nevada? One of my biggest fans here at Hashtag Truth, man. Glad to see you on, Sean.
Couple time zones over for sure.
Oh yeah, he's from Cali. He moved from Cali to Nevada. He actually has a gimmick as a fan called Ringsiders. Him and his family dress up in masks. And they're ringsiders. They get the front row and sit right at the ringside. So it's great. That's how I first met him years ago doing Hashtag, and he's been a fan ever since. And he started using his real name, but there he is. There's his family. There's his kids right there with him, and really good guy, man. I always like to plug him. A big, huge fan of Hashtag Truth, man. And also a military veteran.
Nice. Thank you for
your service. He was a Marine. Yes, sir. So, but okay, so you went from Kansas to Charlotte. Now we're at Charlotte and you're moving. How did you get over on the East Coast? How did you get over where we're at?
So, once everything settled down with my military career being over, I obviously stayed out in Kansas for, the past 3 or 4 years because I bought a house.
You still go back all the time?
Yeah, I used to travel back and forth. I mean, for family and stuff, because all my family's in North Carolina, in Charlotte.
Okay. Gotcha.
But now I have moved my entire life back to Charlotte. So now I am here to stay, on the East Coast for good. And obviously I'll still travel back to the Midwest for shows. I'm not opposed to traveling anywhere at all. But now I want to establish myself here, in the Southeast, or wherever I have an opportunity to show somebody who I am and what I bring to the table.
So I'm pretty sure this is a really dumb question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So that way, if a promoter or somebody's watching, how far are you willing to travel if somebody were to call you and say, hey, I saw you on hashtag. I really like your character. I'd like to, for you to come and be on my show. How far are you willing to travel?
This weekend, I will be traveling back to Kansas for a show and heading right back to North Carolina. So I'll be traveling 18 hours, both ways. So 18 there, 18 back. And I am not opposed to traveling because, to be honest with you, driving really just, eases my mind. So driving and, traveling I'm not opposed to going anywhere.
There you go. I wasn't laughing at you or your answer, sir. It's just he slipped back over into Ringsiders. He said, speak our name and we come around to say hello and we love you. I know that's love instead of live, but
that's
there
awesome.
You go. There's the family right there. He wants to know if if you're ever going to do a California West Coast tour, Nevada, anywhere in that area. Of course, he's going to ask. That's where he lives.
That's something I am not opposed to. I will travel anywhere. If I have to get a license, whatever, I will travel there.
I will tell you, sir, the same thing that I'm pretty sure Sean will tell you. The first place I would look up if you want to go to California, look up a company called Best of the West.
Okay.
Very good company. They do TV taping type shows. So very popular, and I'm pretty sure that Ringsiders or Sean, whichever one I'm going to get in the next few seconds, will tell you that's one of his favorite stops. So you talked about all these places that you went, all the places. Where do you want to go? What is that one venue that's on your bucket list that you haven't been to yet that you want to go to?
The one venue? Well, the Charlotte Coliseum's out, obviously, because it's not there anymore.
Right.
There is a company in North Carolina, in Charlotte, XWW. They're starting to do shows out of the Bojangles Coliseum, which is the old arena. And that is a venue that I would love to wrestle at, for sure. Another one being Square Garden.
I was about to say, as a fan, the one arena that I want to go to that, I've watched many wrestling matches there. Many wrestling matches there is is the Garden in New York. I want to go there so bad.
So do I. I really do.
Michael King, who will be coming up on hashtag Truth pretty soon, man. The Asian Sensation says XWW has great talent.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And everyone in that locker room and everyone at that organization is nothing but top notch.
Oh, yes, without a doubt. If you go back and watch some of my hashtag Truths when I did have sponsors on here before I got really sick again, it was fun because they all gave me commercials, and I will honestly say that XWW was right up there at the top with their commercials. Manny Mac does a great job of promoting his shows, man. If you're a wrestler and you work out there, he will promote from sun up to sundown without even sleeping until that show hits.
Yeah, and he does it all. He's like a one-man show too. He does it all. He is and really dedicated to that company for sure.
Oh yeah. He's one of them guys that when you walk into his office, there's a huge organized mess. You know what I'm saying? Oh gosh, without a doubt. So wrestlers out there, independent professional wrestlers, you said you've been all over the place, so I'm pretty sure you've seen a lot. Who was that one guy that gave you the best fight of your life? Who was that one guy that when you stepped into the ring, you made magic?
So there's a guy out in he's based out of Oklahoma. He's actually the current AIWF national champion, I believe. The urban legend Drake Gallows.
Nice.
He gave me one hell of a fight last year, right before COVID hit. We went 25 minutes in a match, and it was a brawl, and he brought it all, and that match actually one of my favorite matches that I've had so far. He brought it, I brought it. It was pretty good chemistry because, he's super bad guy. And, I was the never die, I get the kick, get my butt kicked, but then I'm still fighting. I'm still coming back. I'm still swinging, and it was pretty good. I enjoyed that match. That was
To me as a fan, those are the best matches when they start off slow and then they build into a rivalry. That's the kind that just, I love. I'm one of the few people probably in the world that love a really slow build. People are so used to the WWE way, I guess, they're fighting each other right away.
Yeah.
There's no, jobbers in between. It used to be in wrestling, you wrestle, I won't say jobbers, but you'd wrestle other wrestlers and you knew that you were building for a fight. You guys were like at a pay-per-view a month away. And, you guys you'd see promos back and forth, or you guys might end up in the studio together, jabbering back and forth and get into a little, ruckus. But you didn't really wrestle until a month or so down the road or 2 months down the road. You know what I'm saying? I miss those days. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and I miss those days too. And to be honest with you, my match with Drake Gallows was, a couple years in the making, because before I was a wrestler, for XWE, I was a fan, and he would always screw with me as a fan, throw water on me, tear my signs up, stuff like that. So
I get the same thing when I go to shows, man. You know how they come out with pour water on their hair, and they'll come out and they'll slick it and they'll do this. I'm the one guy they come out and do that to all the time. So yeah, I get it.
That rivalry, I guess you could say rivalry, but that had been 2 years in the making, because, before I became a wrestler, I was a fan in the stands,
Right.
giving these guys crap. And, now I'm sharing a locker room with them. And, one day I was approached saying, hey, Drake wants to wrestle you. For the last 2 years of all the crap he's put you through, let's make some magic, let's build this story and let's show the fans that you're not going to take any crap as a wrestler or as a fan.
Right, without a doubt. So let's hit this last little commercial break, and then we'll come back and finalize the show. We're here talking with the American hero, Johnny Faith, having a great time. We still got plenty of time, don't worry, but we're hitting our last commercial break, and here we go. It's going to be me this time, so you guys have to dread through me doing a little promo. HWA, Heritage Wrestling Alliance, presents Championship Fever, Saturday, June 19th, 2021. It's at the Gilkey School Community Center, 217 Gilkey School Road, Rutherford, North Carolina. Doors open 6:30, bell time 7 o'clock. Tickets, adults are $10, 12 and under are $5. Fight Underground is doing they're going to crown their first ever heavyweight champion. It's going to be Reverend Ron Hunt versus the Beast Man. You've been watching the promos all throughout the show. They're going to be there at HWA in Rutherford. Also, Mike Madden, the HWA heavyweight champion, Cruiser Lewis, Chase Emery, and many, many more. You don't want to miss that show. The brain, Scott Larson, right here. He will be there also with hashtag Truth. You never know. I might even get an interview. I'm sure going to try. So you guys be out there to HWA in Rutherford, because I will definitely be there, me and the family. All right, man. So, wow. That was a mouthful. I just had to got to take a little rest after that. So you travel a lot. You travel up and down the road. Do you have any traveling buddies? Do you have any wrestling traveling buddies that go with you?
So obviously now that I've moved away from Kansas, where all my traveling buddies are, as you would say.
Please don't tell me you click your heels together. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
But a lot of us, that out of my training facility and all that, Remington Roar and Mitch Onyx, we hit the road a lot with Marco. We have a carload that we travel up to Indy with to go see Gary and all those guys at AWR up there. So usually we try to pack as many people in a car as possible. It doesn't matter if one guy's booked or if all of us are booked. We're all going to go just for an opportunity to help or maybe even wrestle.
There you go. See, you know, a lot of wrestlers do that, and I love that. A lot of wrestlers will show up at another show because you never know when somebody can't make it. A car breaks down, something happens, and then the promoter looks out and goes, "Oh, hey, there's a wrestler sitting out there. I know he's a wrestler," or they might even know you anyway, and just have another wrestler come out. Hey, come to the back. Promoter wants to talk to you. Next thing you know, you're in the show, man. You never travel. I heard as a wrestler, you never travel anywhere without your gear.
No, definitely. It stays in my car. The only time it doesn't leave my car is
When you're washing it.
or I'm watching it. Yes. Because I'm always afraid somebody's going to break in, because you hear those stories about people getting their cars broken into and their stuff.
We had a guy on here who's a good friend of mine, Jack Morgan. He's called the Bassmaster. His gimmick is a fishing gimmick. And he had like $600 worth of merch in his car, all his gear, and his car broke down. He put it in the trunk and locked it and came back the next day. The trunk was popped. His windows were broke out. All the stuff was gone, bro. Yeah.
That's a night.
Those stories are true.
So that's why obviously if I'm going to any wrestling related event, whether I'm just going to watch the show as a fan or to help with like security or something like that, or obviously if I'm booked, I'm going to bring my gear, because you never know what is going to happen. You never know.
Right. Without a doubt. Now, we were talking about bookings and being on the West Coast. Ringsider said that Blacklist Pro, East Bay Pro, Super Beast Training Compound in Vegas, Crimson Crown, Cactus League Wrestling, and if your level is excelled, FSW in Vegas. So there's a bunch of spots you could hit, man.
Wow, that's Super Beast right there. Yeah.
And Michael King said the Asian Sensation is a former paratrooper. Respect to my military brothers. Dude, thank you very much for your service.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for sure.
Ringsider said with that list he gave you, these are all great places to start if you're going to the West Coast. And he also said, why aren't we hearing as much about the Superjaw Indie cards anymore? Ringsiders, if you're wondering what he's talking about, American Hero, is in our area there was a company that came out with Super Indie Wrestling cards, and it's all independent wrestlers, and you get your own card, and it's part of a card game. You could actually play wrestling by rolling dice and doing certain things. It's like playing Pokemon, but with independent wrestlers. Basically is the way they made the game. Wow. And it's very popular, and it went away for some reason all of a sudden. But Ringsiders, never fear. I just heard at the last wrestling show last Saturday that I was at that the owners were so far behind in getting out all the cards that they kind of had to quit advertising for a little bit, but they are going to be coming back, Ringsiders. So that they will be coming back, and I'm going to tell Johnny Faith when we get off of here how to get that, because that's pretty cool to have on your merch table, man.
That would be
oh yeah, and they sell. I've got I wish he would. I wish I'd have known he was going to bring that up, because I have 2 cards in that game myself. I have me as a manager, and I also have a hashtag Truth Independent Wrestling podcast card, which is kind of like a, it does weird things. It helps other wrestlers in the matches. So it's awesome. Like a booster card. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. You get your picture on it. You couple of your finisher and your one other move, I believe it is, and it's pretty cool, man. It gives all your information as far as your height, weight and things like that. So, and hey, I've heard promoters even using. I've even seen ring announcers take those cards to the ring. No joke, and use them to read off the information, dude. They're all a million ways you can use them cards. But anyway, so. Gosh, man, you are great, because the way you was telling your story, we're going right down the line. So we're here. You're in North Carolina. Where is home in North Carolina? What is the home organization you've been wrestling for here in North Carolina?
Like I said, I've only wrestled a couple times in Charlotte since I've been back, and it's been
XWW's home right now, basically.
Yeah, you could technically say that, but I am trying to branch out as much as possible while I'm here, because I have family and friends all over the state of North Carolina that don't necessarily have the means to travel, too far to watch me wrestle. So I'm trying to get as close to them as I can so that they can watch me wrestle.
Oh, without a doubt. Tyson said XWW, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, Ringsider says he has both my cards tucked away. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And Tyson's still woo woo. I love it. Thanks, guys. Thanks for showing up to hashtag Truth tonight. So, American Hero Johnny Faith, tell everybody, the promoters, fans, anybody, where they can find you on social media if they want to get a hold of you, or if they want to find out where you're going to be at your next show, or if they're a promoter and they want to get a hold of you to book you. Where do they find you on social media?
So you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Johnny Faith 704. You can also find me on YouTube at Johnny Faith 704. Email me, johnnyfaith704 at gmail. I'm pretty much all over the place. I try to.
Okay. I gotta ask. 704. What does it mean?
That's my area code for my hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina.
There you go. I love it. When I first started doing YouTube videos, I called myself, my old handle was Scooter Magoo 323 because that was the last 3 numbers of my area code, and my name's Scott, of course, so I used Scooter. So it was Scooter Magoo 323. So I sort of figured that's what it was, but I had to ask because it could have been your company number.
Hey, you never know, but it's the good area code of the good old Queen City.
There you go, without a doubt. Oh yeah, Ringsiders was in a fire too. His house burnt down. Everybody's safe, everybody's good, but he said we're glad our wrestling memories survived the fire. Now this guy has a pretty good story, Johnny. Let me tell you about this guy. This guy has a book, and it's kind of funny because when they go to wrestle in California in areas like Best of the West and things like that, he gets their picture. He'll develop their picture. He'll put it in this book, and he'll go to the show and he'll have them sign it. Almost every guy that is in that book that has signed his book has went to TV.
Wow, that's awesome.
Isn't that amazing? That book, he has an amazing book that is probably going to be worth a good dime someday. But I'm pretty sure if I know Sean the way I know him, he's going to pass it down to his children, and they'll pass it down. Just keep it going, man, because
the only way to do it
is amazing.
Just keep it going, adding to it.
Right? So last question before we get out of here. Outside of wrestling, we've heard about you being in the military. We've heard about your love of wrestling and being a wrestler. What do you do outside of wrestling? When you just want to get away from wrestling, do you have any hobbies outside of wrestling?
I love to throw a rod in the water and try to catch some fish.
Man, the number of people that tell me they love to fish. What do you like fishing for, bro?
To be honest with you, I don't care. Whatever bites my hook.
Now, I've never had that answer before. That's pretty cool, man. That is pretty cool.
I do enjoy surf fishing out to surf at the beach. I do love that. That's probably one of the favorite things I enjoy doing. I'd like to get out there about waist deep with my rod and just toss it out there and see what happens while the waves are crashing on me. Oh,
so do you do river fishing?
I do river fishing, surf fishing, lake fishing. I do it all, but I really like the beach fishing. I don't know why. It's just something about the beach and the sounds. It just takes me away there for the few minutes.
You don't hook any of the swimmers though, right? you try not to.
Hook a bunch of turtles though. I know that.
Gotta watch them snappers, bro. Gotta watch them snappers. They hurt. I ain't gonna lie to you. The one time, though, I have one short memory about a fishing trip I went to one time. I used to live in Mississippi, and if you know anything about Mississippi, king pole fishing is a huge thing in Mississippi. What it is, it's basically just a long stick. You put a bunch of fishing string at the end of it. You put a hook to it. You put something on the hook, and you just swing it out there in the water with this big stick. Well, where we live, there wasn't any lakes around us or anything, or ponds as people have in their, on their properties. So what you would do is the little bridges that went up and down the road, people would fish off the side of those bridges. First time I ever did that, I stepped down into some tall grass to go and put my hook in the water. The second I stepped down, I stepped on the end of a snake, and the snake was actually, its head was in the water. It was about to go into the water. We had scared it. And when I stepped on it, its head came out of the water and was just splashing like this.
Oh,
You talking about scaring. Now, back then, I was 160 pounds. I could run. And my grandpa laughs to, my grandpa's gone now. God rest his soul. But he used to tell the story. All you saw of Scott was his butt and elbows. That was, he was gone. That was the last time I ever went king pole fishing, man.
no, that's great.
Michael King runs like Forrest Gump. I don't want to know about that, bro. Now they're just being silly over there in comments. But so tell everybody, man, tell everybody out there what the American Hero gimmick is before we leave, where we can find you wrestle, when's your next appointment, or I say appointment like you got a doctor schedule. When's your next show? When's your next booking so they can come out and see you?
So this weekend, I'm actually wrestling out in Kansas in my home promotion of XWE. It's our first show back in 15 months. I'm so excited about that, to get back out there to those guys. July 3rd, I wrestled down in Bunnell, Florida for Legacy Classic Championship Wrestling. And I also have some feelers out there, for the whole month of July and August. And I'm trying to fill up everything as much as I can. Like I said, I'm still new to this part of the country. So I'm just trying to get an opportunity and get my foot in the door in some places to get some more bookings, or even just to help out. I mean, I'm not really worried about the bookings right now. I just want to help. Right.
Just want to get in there and get your hands dirty, right?
Exactly. I want to earn it the old-fashioned way and not just say, hey, here's my stuff, put me on your show. No, I want to do it the old-fashioned way. I want to bust my tail for these guys and show them that, I have great work ethic, and I'm not here just for wrestling, but I'm here to help the show and the company.
Oh man, you just hit the golden nail on the head with a lot of promoters in our area. I'll tell you what, by saying that. So hopefully you get a lot of messages, man. And I appreciate you coming to Hashtag Truth today, bro. I really did. Again, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
It's been tremendous hearing your story, and I hope you do get where you want to go in wrestling, man. And the American Hero Johnny Faith, I'm definitely going to be looking out to see if you come a little bit south in North Carolina. Yeah. I'm down here at the southern part of North Carolina, where I'm right on the teeter of South Carolina and North Carolina. I travel up there in the Forest City, Rutherfordton, Lincoln area. So if you come down here, I will definitely look you up.
Trust me, I'm hoping to make my way that way for sure, so I can cross paths with you at a show and we can catch up and all that for sure.
There you go, man. Wrestling is the American way, and there's nobody more American than the great American hero, Johnny Faith. And that is the Hashtag Truth. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Y'all